All right, ladies and gents, it is Friday, the 6th of August, 2021. Still in the summer months of trading here. Plenty of opportunity out there. I just found none of it. Three trades in total today, all of them to the downside in the red. Not like it was gross trading, not amateur chasing or crazy lack of risk management. Trades that I had a lot of conviction in, took some bigger sizes on them, and they just ended up being the red today. So SPY really nothing today. We spanking new all-time highs once again. Some more housekeeping on the day. NASDAQ internals, that. NYSE internals, that. OTC internals, 2.48 billion total dollar volume again. That's kind of hover around the same activity we've seen the past few days. So yeah, let's start it off with TAOP. This one has just got my number for some reason. Initially, coming in from last week, I'll go ahead and pull it up on demand from last week. The most beautiful and pristine and awesome morning dump opportunity. Just a straight up, straight down. That is exactly what we're looking for. Entry on the VWAP crack. Don't have to revisit that one again. That following Friday, so it was exactly 1 week ago Friday, on the 28th of July, or this 30th of July, similar news release comes out at 8 o'clock exactly. All three of these days, so today, this last Friday, and then that last Wednesday, all these news releases come out at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Pretty much all of them the same thing. This Friday today, and then that Thursday, this other day, were both letters of intent to acquire blah, 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 majority ownership of another company. Same type of thing. And then this 30th, this day we're looking at here, which was the exact trade that we were looking for today. This news catalyst was strategic operation agreement, blah, 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 whatever. Like same exact thing. It doesn't matter. It's a terrible, shitty company. So looking on the daily again, total downtrend. It's a crow. It's in this long kiss goodnight. Just absolutely horrific, terrible company. So, but this was entirely what I was looking for with this trade pattern. This peak move percentage up here as it was trading on this Friday, 10%. I mean, from 3.2 to 3.9, that's obviously above 10%, but the tradable region, I would consider it. Your max gain here, you can go from 3.6 to what, 3.3? Like a full move of that is 10%. So even remembering back on that day, I was trying to take it short, and even at that point too, I knew it wasn't going to be a slam dunk, even a single slam dunk. So I shouldn't even have been in the trade short. But obviously, I got squeezed out in that pre-market, and it kind of flustered around the rest of the day, but ended up dying off because, again, it's a terrible company. That was the whole thing. Because pretty much did the exact same thing. We're getting this price action. It wasn't a massive move to the upside as this news article comes out. We're coming to 3.9 again. That's funny. Go on the 10-day here. I just thought it was 3.9. That one. Yeah, exactly. Like 3.9, this level that it did the same thing on that last Friday, literally a week ago. So I'm thinking, ooh, I'm going to get some long positions in here. And okay, here we go. So those are the exact entries and exits. All of them at a size of like 200 shares each. So I tell you what, do I know how to sell a freaking bottom or what? It's just ridiculous. I look at this and the immediate reaction, of course, is to just like slam your head on the desk and go, oh my gosh, you're cutting these at the exact bottom. Of course, this last one here, it was dead anyway, so that was a good cut, but I'm cutting myself short on the exact low of the candle, whatever. But anyway, I also can look at this too in the perspective of, okay, now I'm identifying and understanding I'm getting stopped out. They're specifically, I don't remember if I had stop orders in. I did not have stop orders in, but the mental levels I'm setting are obviously incorrect. I need to do something to widen. I've seen this now, especially in this past week, as I've hit this little bit of a red streak. But I feel like in all of these longs, and we're going to get into more charts today too that require a little bit wider of a risk zone or risk tolerance. I got to do something with widening the risk. And that, of course, has to entail sizing down on my position sizes, but also just not being so concerned about getting filled at a specific price or thinking that if something on the bid falls off, then that's my cue to exit versus just trading the trade, let the trade breathe, and being able to still have that free mind to read the price action, read the level too, because this is just unacceptable to me. How can it completely die off? I thought this was going to be the nice perk that we saw on that last Friday again too. Shut up. No. So then, oh my gosh, stupid Alexa ruined my train of thought. I thought this was going to be the move on that same thing of Friday, and I was just going to get a quick move. I didn't ask you the question. And was just looking for that quick pre-market move. Again, I wasn't looking to hold this thing as a squeezer into market hours. Just looking for a quick little move, and I had high conviction on it, and that's why I took that big of a position size, big in my book. I want to check one thing. Okay, yeah, just double checking that each of these trades was 200 shares both ways. So just frustrating. Fortunate that, because I was looking at this the entire time saying, I am not looking at this as a short. This is just not enough room and opportunity for me to call this a morning dump. Even if it did do this type of price action, there's just really not enough meat on the bone for me to feel comfortable in saying, that great Tim Sykes methodology of, man, I need 50% move to make 10%, right? I probably use different numbers, but that's the mentality that I also have to carry in this too, as I'm continuing to learn and grow in experience of all this. Of I really have to be hitting hard at big percentage moves in order to still be able to try and take a small slice of that. I can't be coming out here trying to chop around for 1-2% trades, especially with the small account. That's just not how this thing is going to grow. That's not how I'm going to progress as a trader. So unfortunate in all of this, just choppy price action. Again, the outside factors that I was allowing the emotions to take over. I qualified this one as meeting my goal on the month of having fun, because I really was. I felt when I was in the trade, I felt I was loose and free, and understanding that, oh man, I just got stopped out at the exact bottom, but still ready and willing enough to say, hey, this is still pretty choppy. We're getting some kind of decent volume and traction now to it. We could see this move back up. So still free and willing enough and loose enough to say, man, I think this still could happen, but also willing enough or ready enough to cut it when it needs to be cut. That's one of my biggest rules too, is cut losers when they need to be cut. In critical thinking on the stock, I think this last Friday, I think it have done this move because there wasn't really anything else running on that day, and that was just kind of the attraction. Again, the fundamentals on this one, just for reference, Chinese company, float of 5.8 million, super low float. And if I had to kind of think objectively about this or abstractly about this, you could say that this move mainly came from the fact that there was really nothing else moving on that last Friday. And also too, I think it was holding a little bit under VWAP at this point too, and just kind of teasing shorts to come in, versus today where it was above teasing longs in this sense. And I was one of those longs. I was being teased both days, and I don't like it. But it's all learning about this. This ticker for right now has my number on. I feel like I'm there and totally present and ready to go on this thing, but just the P&L says otherwise. So that was just a learning experience on that one. That one in total was $60 loss, $64 lost in both of those cuts. Nowhere near the end of the world. And again, no other short setups that I found in the morning that I liked. And I think that bled a little bit too, and what I'd mentioned of just being led into the emotional factor that, oh, why am I not seeing my specific trades pop up? This is just stupid. Somebody's gonna pay for this, right? And I say that and put it to that extreme, but even I feel myself, even if I hint at thinking that, I feel like that's just taking me off immediately. And then it's almost like, okay, hokey pokey, turn yourself around, change the mindset, because that's how the market gets you. And from that point on, it was just almost as if the whole trading day was off kilter. When I get to that point of feeling like I have to make money, and that of course everybody else is just making buttloads of money and they're doing awesome trades, and I'm over here just piddling around losing money like an idiot. That's the downward spiral that it comes into, and that just needs to be, at the slightest hint of that just needs to be nipped in the bud immediately. So that was the learning lesson on this one that carried over into KXIN. The trades on this one I'll set up quick. Okay, so this one, awesome dip and rip. I mean, as you can see, I traded this one to the short side eventually, but just looking at it in the morning, big spiker news. I remember this one actually trying to do this one as more of a swing play. So like back in this time frame, I remember seeing it kind of touching these levels and thinking, "Ooh, this is a Chinese company. Could be a nice pump and dumper, float of 18 million." So I was looking at this one a long time ago around this time frame of, okay, kind of taking my risk level around this range here or these bottoms and thinking, man, I'm just looking for any of these days, any big volume days to come in similar to this price action if we saw a crazy market around that time frame. That's what I was looking for back then as a swing on this one. So today, as this one popped up, the news catalyst was they're entering into a new energy vehicle business. So trying to hit that EV buzzword. Yeah, like I said, float of 18% or 18 million, I should say, reported short interest of 1%. Awesome dip and rip that I just totally missed. And like I mentioned with TAOP, emotions kind of got to me and I was just thrown off my game. I can label it and yell at it as, oh, I'm not getting enough sleep. I'm just not prepared in a sense. But that's all on me. There are no excuses. There's nobody else to blame. And it's going to take work. It's not just going to fall into place with me just saying, oh, well, I'll go to sleep way earlier and I'll do all these specific things. And no, it's just going to take hard kind of brute force work in order to redirect this mental sphere to totally let go and free myself up from the truth that I can't control what these tickers do. And that's where I get myself into this little tizzy all the time that, man, it's just like you're thinking that everybody else is always making money and you're seeing all these movers and you're like, man, I have to make money. Why am I not making money? And there's all these trade opportunities and, well, I have to be in this one, blah, 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 blah. It just goes on and on and on. I have to focus and be within myself. And even through all the noise of the market itself and every chat room and all this type of other stuff and influence, at the end of the day, it is just price. It is price action. And that's what I have to think of it. So this trade I took short was just a picking top trade. I feel like there is a strong percentage of these that morning spikers get that peak in the morning session, and then we get a pullback to VWAP or low VWAP. This move here, this whole downtrend, nope, that's not what I wanted. Nope. There we go. Man, that was entirely what I was looking for. 10% move, maybe a little bit more. I hold a few shares, but that just downtrend here was exactly what I was looking for. Retest of VWAP. Okay, it could show a little bit of strength, but then it ultimately dumps a little bit lower. Don't even care what it does in the afternoon session. This was the short trade I was looking for. And of course, shorting is about timing, and I was too early, just like a few other shorts here. I could have seen some other people getting screwed here trying to short it off of this peak, and it just kept ramping up. If we're looking at this price action, this little area here, you'll notice we'll see these big red volume candles and big red top wicks. So it's I'm trying to read this and I'm looking at it while I'm short in this trade, thinking, okay, there must be some overhead in this that may just like dump it super hard. But then the other part of me says, okay, why are we not dumping hard right now? If we're getting all of these rejects, why is it not dumping? And looking at it, you could say, okay, this bearish move isn't turning bearish. It could go bullish at this point. Maybe that was something I should have reflected on and been wise enough or open enough to receive while I was in the trade. But I certainly wasn't going to cut it until it proved to me that it would break that high a day risk level. And of course it did. So that was that. Small risk. It was a 7% trade against me from that point. 500 shares in total. 100. I was telling myself initially too, hey, maybe just start off slow and size into it if it's just going to hover around this point while still maintaining this high of day. So starting in with like 100 shares, first entry was like 261, I believe. And then I was trying to think, okay, I could get another 100 at like 264, 263. But then as I was getting here and like looking a little bit weaker, and then we got this reject here, I was thinking, okay, screw it, all in 400 shares more at like 258 I got, I think. Just terrible, terrible fill, chasey fill that pretty much got bought up right back immediately. And then, of course, I'm in the negative as it's going, and this price action looking weak, about to break this high day. And then, like I mentioned, we get into, okay, double top wickings. What's going on here? So that was kind of fun to be a part of that experience of what does this all mean? Why is it doing this? And now looking back on it, I can reflect and say that kind of shoulda, coulda, woulda been a bearish signal that we're getting these huge top wicks with red candles with volume, and it's not dying. So something is wrong to be on the short side on this one. And that's what got reflected here. So tough one on that one. $100 loss on that one with the size I had, which I don't think it's a bad trade. I was just early, and there was other signs, like I mentioned, that maybe should have been realized as I was in it. But oh, it was just frustrating to see that just a few minutes later does exactly what I was looking for, this exact trade I saw. So then, of course, we get some nice VWAP holding here. I wouldn't call this like an awesome ABCD pattern or gun hold trade pattern, but it does hold some levels. I mean, we're getting choppiness around whether or not it wants to hold VWAP, but this also kind of ties back into the whole, sometimes these, like the way the market is trending and evolving, these really just kind of require a wider risk tolerance. And that's was proven again today on this one, that as it was still kind of pushing lower lows, the trend immediately flipped out of nowhere on really not a lot of dollar volume or volume in general to say, as we're cracking this VWAP here and pushing this huge perk into the close, there wasn't really, unless you're getting in on this break level here of 2.7 and this little peaky area there, I would call that an awesome entry to play the potential upside. But we haven't seen in these past few weeks any VWAP hold trades like this holding up. So this was a good example of that, of past 2020 trading months, I feel, of the VWAP holds, the afternoon trades that were just killer 100%. This is easy 10-20% opportunity on this one. Good to see that they're coming back around. Total dollar volume today on it 693 million, just for reference, 560,000 trades, pretty decent. So those are my two losses on the day, and I just, after that point, I pretty much just called it off for that. I was still present watching other tickers, but that was just it for my trading. I really wanted to cut myself off, again mentioning that the emotion was getting to me and I really needed a reset or hokey pokey turn myself around to get my head on back straight and understand who I am and where my feet are in that sense. FLGC was another one. So this recent, remember back on this day, had these kind of crazy out of nowhere spikes, no real news catalyst on this one for the initial run up. Looks like after the close here, they're announcing their earnings August 19th, so 2 weeks. But anyway, again, as a reminder, fundamentals on this one, it's a Canadian cannabis company, float of 30 million. I don't see a reported short interest. So spiky out of nowhere, fade, peak, or fade off die on this day. Really nothing day. And then this like Dan Irish third day play, that was a great, huge opportunity. This is a 5-minute chart, by the way. And then was holding levels well into this pre-market. Doesn't trade a lot of volume after hours, but still rising VWAP, holding above the close from yesterday, looking good, looking green, looking kermy. Had a little bit of a dump here out of the gate, but ultimately quick bounce, and VWAP wasn't dumping hard with it. And of course, price action didn't. It put in one red candle and then didn't touch that, come close to breaking that at any point after that. So I think it was just a quick little short squeeze here. This move, you're looking under 12% or under 10%, obviously. That's this $12 whole round area. But upside move there in the morning, and then you can see kind of triple top area here. This candle, awesome volume coming in to say, hey, we're triple topping, we're pushing this breakout level, we're going past, yeah, and then just dump and fade right back underneath that, getting all the longs out. You can see it kind of did the same thing here, saying, oh, we're under VWAP, this is the end, and then saying, oh, we're just kidding, we're coming all the way back. Tough, choppy trading, and then kind of held this VWAP hold, but no conviction or no follow through on the backside of that. I'll certainly still keep watching this one. We've got those breakout levels from the previous days. We're still in this uptrend, even past all these red days coming through. So it's certainly could still play. I love to say certainly for some reason. The big mover of the day, the best trade by far, BYSI. Of course, that huge over 100% day trade, pre-market, I should say. This is 100% I think it's like the Dan Irish third day play or whatever. Whoever came up with it first or kind of specialized this type of chat. But of course, Bryce Toohey and Matt Monaco did an awesome recap video and small cap recaps on stocks to trade of this video. 100%. I'm saying this to myself. If I'm rewatching this video, go back and watch that video on today, which is the 6th of August, 2021, because they have so much more in-depth knowledge of this ticker from actually trading it with size, how they went through it. Matt Monaco was up like 40K at one point and brought it back down to like 26,000. They were making mistakes on both sides and still ended up super profitable on this big mover. And that's what I mentioned a little bit before of you can get away with those mistakes when it's moving so well on a percentage basis because there's opportunity to mess up and you can still walk away with a pretty nice profit to boot. So I don't know how I missed this dip and rep. I mean, we're getting yesterday was a little bit of a sell-off day, a little bit of a nothingness day, not a crazy amount of volume compared to today where we're pushing 1.1 billion total dollar volume again today. Only like 282,000 trades, which I find interesting. I should get yesterday's data at some point too to compare those shares per trade. But besides the point, you can see here, I'm going to kind of go scatterbrain a little bit on all this. $30 having an impact for some reason, especially on this first day, and the same exact thing today, a perfect touch and reject of that $30 level. Back to the morning session, of course. As Matt Monaco said, go watch the video. Of course, I'm going to just like repeat pretty much everything they said too, but the things that I was seeing as well, you need to have these types of tickers now require that wider risk level. They're not just going to dump so hard, so panicky, crazy that you have to be, how should I put this? I'm going to phrase this as these just require, because they're so volatile and there's so many sides to them now, there's so many layers to these trades, you got to be willing to take on that risk. And even though it kind of looks weak and you're saying, okay, we perked back above VWAP, oh, but now it rejected. It didn't even come close to this pre-market high. It's not dumping. And same thing kind of like KXIN when I was in short. If it's not dumping, and not a lot of volume to boot to come in as well, just looking in at this point here, we're getting decent volume for what this is. It's a NASDAQ listed, former, still fresh runner, but not the volume that it produced later. So that's another sign to me too to say, hey, even though there's not a lot of crazy volume coming in at this point, it still could come. So just be prepared and ready that if it's not doing what you think it's going to do, especially as it's looking how it's under VWAP at this point, just kind of consolidating. Yeah, breaks the low here, but not a lot of volume to shove it lower. We get another green candle right after it. Play that dip. This is a great entry point here as it's shooting back above VWAP. Okay, volume's building consistently a little bit at this point. We're getting, kind of these dojis or selling under, but really not convicting fully hard that it's going to dump. But it could have fully dumped. I mean, I could have seen that as well too, that it did some more fake outs, but then this trend update wouldn't have even happened today. So the powers that be obviously had something in the works on it today. But around this time frame, great entry opportunity, and man, great exit points to take profits when they are there on this upside in the morning session. You could have been fully out in this morning session with beyond 10% opportunity on that one. And then the curl back to VWAP for the afternoon. What an opportunity on this one. Not a pure or a hard defined technical level to say, okay, we're holding this level, we're curling well. I think this one moves well into the afternoon session. But certainly as it's coming back above VWAP, now we're getting these perks again with volume. You can see we're building a little bit around this section. Yeah, choppy once again, but that just ties back into we got to be a little bit more willing to take on some risk tolerance, widen out our stops a little bit, understand that the trend is not broken at this point, even like in this hard little red candle section there. And you can see quick reversal to the upside on all these green candles. Just mean and aggressive and beautiful percentage. Ah, it's that je ne sais quoi. Mwah! Beautiful, beautiful opportunity. My hands were tied. I didn't even want to touch it, trade it. I'm here to learn from it, to apply it to the future. Awesome, awesome. Awesome, 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 awesome. Awesome. Also, what they mentioned quick, if you haven't freaking watched that small cap recap video already, what they mentioned too that I've never really even thought of is taking out the after hours. So now instead of this one looking all crazy as it's going to like 45 in that pre-market on this day, it's a little bit easier to see, oh, okay, these are the ranges that we're trading. It's not so much of a crazy volatile stock anymore. We can kind of see some defined levels. I had never really thought of that or applied that, and that's a good little note to take note of. So that was BYSI for today. Gosh, I really don't know what it's going to do tomorrow or over the weekend into Monday, but I will 100% keep an eye on it. Hood was really the last one, not insanely beautiful, but of course, a bottom mover always requires the attention when the apes are involved. Pre-market spike, I don't think it had anything coming out. Yeah, just random different news catalysts in the morning session, but some other red names in chat made a little bit on it. I think they were swinging short or maybe playing a long off of this low. I forget. There wasn't a lot of red names in chat anyway. I think a lot of them took the day off here in the summer month on a Friday, especially too. A little trend to the downside and just choppiness. Once again, still fighting battles in the morning session, deciding what it wants to do, but then some downside opportunity. Not huge, not insane, but volatility and liquidity was definitely there on Hood. So that was all I had. Again, go watch that recap with Tui and Monaco. That was one of their best that I felt just because of the energy and their seeing their exact trades on it. And the, because we can look back, I can look back on all of these trades like the BYSIs and see these charts and go, oh, that would be awesome. I could see this level here and I'd play it to that point and then I'd be selling and just waiting in the after hours. But no, it's a totally different animal when you're in it, when you're experiencing it. And as Monaco put it too, that he's up all of this money at this point, and then he's given up like 20 grand on this downside and the frustrations that come with that and how that affects his trading at that point too. Whereas, yeah, looking at it now, you'd say, oh, we'll just let it go for the morning session and then maybe play it a little bit for the afternoon. It's totally, totally different when you're in it. And that's the experience that you can't just learn it from a textbook from. And you can't, videos are great and awesome, of course, too. And of course, what I do in talking through these videos and doing all this type of stuff, firsthand experience will always trump everything else, in my opinion. So let's test out the new mic today. New mic, who dis? We will continue to grow and develop and maintain this monthly goal of have fun, stay loose, understand that I am exactly where I'm supposed to be. I'm not comparing myself to other people or other traders and what they're trying to do and their mentality on it. It is only my mentality, and that is all that matters. It's the price action, and that is all that matters. So thank you guys for watching. We will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.